Spectacular landscapes, vibrant cities, a rewilding project, learning to use natural materials, urban farms, and natural phenomena with legal rights. The third and final stage of our New Zealand road trip has it all. Our road trip continues on the shores of Lake Pukaki. From there, it's not far to our next destination.
So we're going to the highest peak of New Zealand, Mount Cook, and look at the weather. We picked a sunny day.
A hiking trail takes us to a lake with a fantastic view of majestic Aoraki Mount Cook. We can just make out the remnants of a glacier. Like elsewhere on Earth, glacial ice is melting at a rapid rate. The beauty of the place and its obvious fragility remind us that we all must do more to fight the climate crisis.
On the eastern side of the Southern Alps, the land is dry, as we observe from a hill next to Lake Tekapo. Banks Peninsula, on the South Island's east coast, also appears dry, but that's because it was once cleared to create pastures. Thanks to the efforts of conservationist Hugh Wilson, a large piece of land has now been rewilded, Hinewai. The contrast with the surrounding landscape shows the success of Hugh's efforts.
Unfortunately, the onslaught on New Zealand's forests not only took place on the Banks Peninsula. A shocking 70% of the country's native bush suffered a similar fate. To add to the problem, irrigation has intensified dairy and meat production in the last few decades. It keeps the grass green, but leads to groundwater levels continuously dropping. Just outside Christchurch, Coriana takes us to Streamside Organics. They farm on former pasture land without depleting natural resources, while also helping to store carbon and increase biodiversity. Co-founder Dominique explains their methods.
Here at Streamside Organics, we care about the land because that's what we grow on and that's what sustains what we do. So that means looking after the soil, because that's where everything's coming from. Not polluting it. Anytime that we've got any bare land, we will put a cover crop on with a mix of different plant species. So we'll put legumes, which fix nitrogen in the soil. We'll put some grasses that get a bit more carbonous, or like sunflowers that got more stalky, so that when we mulch them down into the ground, it's putting organic matter into the earth. And then also beneficial plants that attract insects and biodiversity and sort of bring a thriving farm. Other methods are like compost teas. You spray that onto the crops, and that's a bit like a probiotic for the plant.
Their approach works. The vegetables grow prolifically. They are harvested with care, so customers get a box full of fresh and healthy goodies.
We next visit the South Island's largest city, Christchurch. In 2011 it was hit by a powerful earthquake. 185 people lost their lives, and much of the city had to be restored or rebuilt. Some buildings are still under construction, like the cathedral. There are still empty spaces in town, one of which is occupied by Cultivate, a community garden that grows organic veggies for the neighborhood. It also has a social mission, providing training and employment opportunities for youngsters. At New Zealand Merino, we meet sales and marketing manager Tom Loftus. He explains that merino wool is naturally renewable and biodegradable, and that merino sheep do well in the rugged and unproductive highlands. We also visit Rekindle, an organization that organizes resourceful skills workshops with local materials. Director Hannah explains.
Kia ora. Well, here at Rekindle we run resourceful skills workshops where we teach people to make objects that are functional and useful for the well-being of people and the planet. So by resourceful we mean we use materials that are abundantly locally available, or they might be otherwise going to become waste. So things like offcuts from industry or locally and abundantly available plants.
To see Rekindle in action, we attend the workshop making slippers. By the end of the day, the participants not only take home wool slippers, but also a new set of skills.
From Christchurch, we drive further north to coastal Kaikoura. We marvel at the ocean and the wildlife from the back of our camper van.
Yesterday we were right there on the peninsula, and today we enjoy this great view. We love it. We next camp at the river mouth. It's a spectacular setting, but the weather forces us to cook inside. So it's a bit crampy in our little kitchen, but it's getting there. Tonight we are eating tortilla, or, well, that's the plan at least.
Cold this morning.
With our newest friends Bonnie and Maarten, we spent the next days exploring the area and enjoying pancakes. After an uneventful ferry trip, we are back in Wellington. At Sustainability Trust, a social enterprise that supports sustainable living, we give a presentation about our journey and mission. We also give an interview on Wellington Radio.
Joining me for this program are two people from the Netherlands who are taking educating for social change very seriously and have found a unique way to do it.
We also visit Kaicycle, another urban farm.
So this is public land owned by the city, and it was a grass park here before, and 5 years ago the group Kaicycle worked with the council to turn it into an urban farm. So really what we're doing here is about using public land that can't be built on to regenerate land, bring people in the city closer to back to growing food and nature, and helping to reduce food insecurity in the city, We grow food and we distribute it through a community-supported agriculture scheme to the community. And yeah, we'd love to see more farms like this open up around the city and pockets of land, you know, as they become available, and we can really bring farming back into the city.
Earlier we visited Te Urevera. We learned why and how that area was granted legal personality. Since then, 2 more natural phenomena in New Zealand have become legal entities: the Whanganui River and Mount Taranaki. We decided to take a look there too. The Whanganui River is another natural phenomenon that has received legal personality under New Zealand law. The local tribes regard the river as a sacred being of which they are part. They rely on the river for spiritual, cultural and physical sustenance. The legal status can help to protect the river from pollution, commercial forestry, industrial agriculture and construction.
Mount Taranaki is a perfect cone that stands tall in the middle of flatland. The local Maori tribes revere the volcano for its high spiritual value. The hike to the summit, 2,500 meters above sea level, is one of the most challenging we ever did.
So we're climbing Taranaki today and it's showing us its personality. Getting there. Final steps. There's the top of Mount Taranaki. We're not going all the way up because it's sacred, as is the whole mountain. It has legal personality, so we're respecting that and we're just enjoying the moment. The road up north takes us through sparsely populated land. Back in Auckland, we check in with our friends Vivian, Bram and their daughter Flora. They arrived by sailboat 8 years ago and are passing on their passion to the next generation.
Nou, dan ga je, schat.
Oh, kijk!
Je vriend in de rug.
We visit an Auckland community garden that is all about giving away the food that they grow. Volunteers run a large garden for those who have difficulties getting fresh, healthy vegetables. Every week, residents can get them here for free.
We also spend time with our friends Carrie and Dan. They take us on a day trip to nearby Rangitoto Island, where we climb to the top of the extinct volcano. Back in Whangarei, Lucy is patiently waiting for us at the pontoon. Vanlife enabled us to see a lot of the country, meet many inspiring people and document new sustainable solutions in a short amount of time. Thank you, Miss Nissy! Did you like this video?
And want to see more? Subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on social media, become our patron on Patreon, or subscribe to our email newsletter on our website.